Got St. Francis this week, so obviously excited to be back at home. They coming off of a James Madison game. Thing that probably sticks out most there is they're a team that likes to run the football. They do a good job of running the football. Early on in that game, they got after James Madison pretty good, and really were in the game until late in the third quarter. So went on the road there and played well, but they've rushed the ball against everybody they've played. Running backs averaging about 202 yards a game, leads all FCS teams in rushing, and they got some active safeties on defense that make a lot of plays, that come down and get around the box. So they'll be excited to come in here and play.
Is that a good look for you, since you've seen a couple of spread pass teams in recent years?
You know, it's a similar style probably to North Dakota State, South Dakota State. As far as that goes, they like to run the football, a lot of similar plays, stretch, power, inside zone, stuff like that. So it'll be a different pace than it's been the last few weeks.
How's the offensive line gelled in the first 3 games for you?
Just okay, just okay. I think there's a ton of potential there. There's a lot of youth, a lot of inexperience there, but we kind of challenge those guys and put some pressure on them, but we're getting better. We got to keep improving. I think they have a chance to be a really good group. Stephen Page is the only senior in that group, but as those guys continue to grow and get stronger, I think there's some guys on there that have a bright future in football.
I know it's Tuesday, but what's the quarterback situation?
Dante practiced yesterday in individual. He didn't do anything in team. We're just trying to monitor his swelling, but today we're going to get him a lot more active as far as running plays and doing stuff like that. So I would expect him to be able to go.
When's the cutoff for when you say, yeah, he's okay?
I think after today and tomorrow, more than likely after today's practice, unless something crazy happens or we have a reoccurrence or have a setback, he should be good to go.
Eric, the last 3 games, the defense I know you can't play a perfect game defensively, but there's been some, with all due respect, lapses. Is that a concern to you, 1? And 2, how do you correct it?
Well, I think after reviewing the film from this past Saturday, we had some eye violations. It's a common word today in college football, and you have a tendency sometimes to look into the backfield as opposed to your assignment, and that's usually what happens. It takes just a quick second to have a breakdown there, and got some couple of guys with some inexperience there, but they'll get better and they learn from it, and they know that every play you've got obviously an assignment and a technique that you need to execute, and the game of football is played with your eyes. It sounds like a really simple thing, but you got to have great eyes, and you have to be disciplined with your eyes. And offenses constantly are doing things with motions and play actions and backfield activity and just window dressing to try to affect your eyes. And that's part of being a creative offense is creating window dressing and disguising what you're really trying to do.
Do you like the way the schedule sets up with the bye next week?
I think it comes at a good time for us before we get into conference play. But, right now our focus is obviously on St. Francis, and we got some things that we want to continue to try to improve on. I want to get some guys back on the field. Looks like we'll have Andrew Williams back, which would be a good thing. Looks like we'll have Nate Dortch back, Eric Thompson back. So those are some good things that get those guys back on the field and out there playing, and Dante back out there. So that'd be 4 starters back.
How about Trey Moore?
Trey Moore's good to go. He practiced well yesterday. We're going to go ahead and start him. He had a good game. He had a physical presence there at the safety position, showed up, and I've always felt like Trey Moore's had the ability. We just had to get him comfortable, get him focused, and give him some encouragement. That's a big part of this game too, is just encouraging players and getting them to play better than they think they can.
You look at the conference, they're 15-1, I think, against the FCS right now. So I know it's 2 weeks away, but do you anticipate it being as good as it's ever been?
I think the conference is probably definitely as strong as it's ever been. Someone had said, I believe it was Trevor, that our conference is ranked ahead of 3 FBS conferences. I don't know what those conferences are, but it's a compliment to our conference. I think Indiana State beating Ball State was a good win for our conference. And I think there's some unique games that are going to happen this weekend. I think Southern Illinois got a legit chance against Purdue. I think that's an interesting game to watch there. Missouri State had a nice shutout win against North Dakota. So, and then there's good football teams in our league, top to bottom.
What has surprised you, if anything, about the conference so far? Don't you pay attention to?
Well, I kind of just watch the scores, obviously, to see how teams are doing and who they're playing against and what the scores are and how late in the game, maybe if it is a game that they get away. But really, this is by far the best the conference has been, I think, top to bottom. When you look at Western Illinois played well, specifically against Wisconsin, I believe. I think they got Northwestern this weekend, and Northwestern, that could be a real interesting game there itself, along with the Southern Illinois-Purdue game. And obviously we want all those guys to win.
With the plays that Hunter had, the explosive plays, the long plays that he was able to, have success on, can you see him as a significant part of this offense, whether Dante's 100% or not?
We haven't really had that discussion. I think we just reaffirmed our confidence in him, as far as him going out and playing. He should have had 5 touchdowns. We had another touchdown there that we didn't get the ball caught. But, for your first time out, playing pretty smooth, managing the offense, could have had 5 touchdowns, had 4. He's a playmaker, and he's a guy that you feel confident putting in at any time if need be. And we know that we have a couple quarterbacks, whether it's him or Ricky, if something happens to Dante.
Can you talk about Cejudo a little bit? 8 for 8, I think, on field goals.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. He's just a great kid. He works hard. He has tremendous work ethic. He's reshaped his body, since he's been here. He's been to a lot of those kicking specialists and camps in the summer, and he's a guy that can punt and kick, and obviously does well on kickoffs. But he's a threat, and you can put him out there, and really anything from 50 on in, I think you feel pretty good, unless you got some win situations. I know he's made a 60-yarder in practice, but that's probably a little bit of a stretch. It just depends on what the wind is.
He's turning you into a field goal coach?
You got to get points on the board. I still like touchdowns, though. But, we actively talk about that in our staff meetings about not having to kick as many field goals. But we like to challenge our offensive line a little bit, too, and make those guys understand that we don't have to just throw them in all the time. We're going to put it on your guys' back a little bit and make you guys work for it.
This running back, Dixon, the one who's averaging over 200, will he be the best back that you've seen today, pretty much?
I would say yes. Yeah, and they'll definitely be the first team that makes a conscious effort to run the football. I think against James Madison, they had the ball for 35 minutes. They're a time of possession team, and they'll complement it with some play-action passes and stuff like that. But, their head coach is a former NFL offensive lineman, and you can see where that personality comes from. He likes to run the football.
I've noticed on their roster they got 8 players from Hawaii. In your endeavors, have you ever recruited Hawaii?
I have when I was at Arizona. So we had some guys from Hawaii. It's a long trip, and then I was over there in the Aloha Bowl 1 year. So I've made a few trips out there, but it's a long way away. But there's good players, very talented area.
What is it that makes their running back tough? Is he getting a lot of yards on his own?
He's got quick feet. He's got great vision. Runs with good pad level. He understands their scheme, and the thing is not very often is he tackled by the first guy, which is obviously a trait of a good running back. Their offensive line does a good job of obviously blocking, and I like their scheme. They keep you honest. They run enough counters to complement their power and stretch game, which makes you have to be gap sound.
one of two night games. You like the night games?
I like the night games because of our atmosphere. Obviously, you know, we have a great college atmosphere here. Waiting during the course of the day is a little bit of a challenge, but it gives us more time to do walkthroughs. We'll have our kids over here on Saturday morning and have a breakfast for them and do a walkthrough and meet a little bit so we can get steal some extra reps, I guess you would say, for before the game.
You mentioned at the outset, you mentioned kind of in passing their safeties. What are the biggest challenges their defense poses, either by quality personnel or scheme?
Well, I mean, they've got good size. They play against every day in practice a team that likes to run the football, so they're familiar with that. The other thing is, you know, they like to load the box. In some form or fashion, there'll always be what you would say is +1 in the box, which means there's a guy down that you really technically can't block, or you have to schematically find a way to block or find leverage on that defender. So that's something that they just are accustomed to from everyday practice. But their safeties are very active in what they do, and they show up all over.
Are you trying to find ways to get Ricky Davis on the field, or some of the things you did with Hunter, quarterback, let him go wide? Is that more of that window dressing you were talking about earlier, or are these guys athletes that you want to see on the field?
They're athletes we want to see on the field. It's just I don't like to always say how we're going to do it, but those guys will have a chance to be on the field. I would leave it at that.
We were talking to Brock about his beard. Have you ever considered growing one?
I can't grow a beard.
No?
No, not a hairy guy. Cochran, he could grow one, I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't grow leg hair either, man.
No, I got this little rough right there. With blonde hair, you know. Blonde, thin hair.
Are you still waiting on stuff for Durden paperwork?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully that happens. You know, that'd be a nice addition to have. What do you think?
You look good in training camp.
Yeah.
Do you ask, like, what is the holdup there?
It's always a paperwork thing. You know how paperwork is. Sometimes stuff just sits on people's desk. So it's out of my hands. But he's here.